Hey, Sagittarius, we've got the ascendant in your sign at the time of this reading, or the time of the recording of this reading. And what's that coming through as is optimism and idealism, those like distilled qualities of Sagittarius. So I've got the Page of Wands here, Jupiter in Sagittarius, as our significator tonight for this reading. And during meditation, I don't know if you can hear it in my voice or not, but I'm a little stuffy. You had me in tears, and they were happy tears. So, what I was seeing during meditation was like this really nice cafe, like a little coffee shop is outdoors, nice sunny day, and someone handed a coffee, out of the window to you, but it was you to yourself, is what I was seeing, was really, really interesting. And it was by a river, this little cafe, and you'd sat down at a table just right near the edge of that river, and that's when the tears came for both you and myself. And it's interesting what I see in meditation because I switch from like first person perspective to third person. It goes back and forth really quickly. It's interesting. Uh, but they were happy tears, like tears of relief, and that like a new beginning, a new start is actually possible. Not only possible, but achievable. And I've heard this trick many a time when you're trying to bring something in your life, change a habit, whatnot. You think about things in the past tense, and that's what this felt like, was that this had already happened. This was not just that a new start was possible, but it's already here. And it might not have made manifest quite yet in that, the result of being at the coffee shop, but it seems like it's here. That's just what I'm feeling. Let's see what we've got here. The lower world. Interesting. So that's like the underworld in this deck. This is the mystical shaman oracle. So, and that really encompasses that feeling that I was getting in meditation, that it was so surreal, like you had lost hope that a new beginning was actually possible, that this was just a daydream that you'd be living in and you'd be stuck forever in this lower world. Let's get a little bit more details about this new beginning that we should be optimistic about, or finally can be optimistic about. And I'm using the Rider-Waite in Spanish. This is my Spanish deck. So we've got Judgment in reverse, Indecision, uh, there's still more words I need to learn. uh, so Judgment in reverse, regarding the new start. Is there some hesitancy here because it does feel so far-fetched that a new start is possible? Is there a lack of trust in yourself that you can do whatever this new start is, if it's like a new job or moving to a new city or something like that. Get another card here. But that this does feel like the present kind of energy that's starting to swirl a bit, that's leading up to that new beginning of that was so surreal, such a surreal feeling of like it actually happened, it's actually like here and I can relax. And that also the fact that it was you handing yourself that coffee, so it's you giving yourself a new beginning. So we've got the Page of Swords and the Six of Wands in reverse. Okay, so this new beginning, because this Page of Swords is the spy card. Private victory. I would say keep this to yourself, whatever it is. Not to say like don't celebrate your wins, whatnot, but just be very selective about who you're sharing your wins with. Like green eyed monster, as they say, envy. So maybe I'm getting gossip from this too. Like you might share it with one person expecting it to stay there and then it doesn't. And they're sharing it with someone that you might prefer they didn't. Hmm. I've got my bone broth here. Chicken and mushroom. A little hot. But let's get more details about the new beginning itself. And that is frustrating when you have been working really hard on whatever it is you're working on, some project or, for a promotion at work, new job, whatnot. And there's something in the ethers that's making it necessary to keep it to yourself. I don't know if this is like a meddling family member, friend. That flipped over on friend, the magician. So you already have everything you need. You have all the tools within yourself. Yeah, because that was you giving yourself that coffee. You already have all the tools within yourself for this new beginning. There could be someone in your orbit, this Page of Swords, that I don't know if they're trying to ride your coattails or like convince you that you need their help when you really don't. This could be a creative project because we started out with the Page of Wands, so that suit of wands, fire, creativity. Is this like someone wants to come in and do admin work for your creative endeavor, for your small business or something, and then act like a partner in it, or something like that, like overinflate their role in the matter? Because when you sat down at the table, And what I was seeing in meditation, it was just you. And I think that that's what gave the opportunity for those emotions to come forward, is that you did this yourself. So let's get another card here for the magician. More detail. Nope. Five of Wands reversed. So compromise, completion of a conflict, or that's just a, I'm not fighting, this is my thing, like this is my project. Stop. Like just get your nose out of it. It could be that. Is it this, something creative coming from that lower world, something deep within your subconscious, that's yours. That's your experience. And this could have something to do with your dark night of the soul. If you've gone through that, or maybe your Saturn return, you're coming out on the other end of that, which might very well feel or be a dark night of the soul as well. One more. And that, like, if they're being truly supportive, that's one thing. But if they're trying to, again, like I said, overinflate their role, mm, they need their own thing, you know? And you can't, I saw this quote just recently. Like, you can't use somebody else's map to find your way. Like, you need your own, like your own compass. So we've got the sun coming out sideways here. So I read that as in motion. And I mean, either way, this card is a very positive card. So it seems like a successful endeavor, whatever this is. And maybe something's coming up in the summer. I think sunflowers might already be blooming. Maybe it's a little early still, but sunflower season. And I mean, summer is like, there's a lot of outdoor stuff with sunflower seeds, like going to a baseball game, going to a park, something like that. There's something about sunflowers. I don't know if that's just significant for you in some sort of particular way. And in reverse, ego, unrealistic expectations, lack of enthusiasm, sadness. So I think that might be commenting on whether you not whether or not you let external parties participate in whatever your new start is as stakeholders and not supporters. And that is likely where those boundaries are coming in, of just, no, this is mine. Like, I'm the one that's been doing the work, I'm the one that's been writing the paper, writing the manuscript, whatever it is. uh you don't just get to do the bibliography and then like put your name on everything, right? So, how do we get the gears moving on this new start? And since the significator is enthusiasm, I think that we might have a call here to maintain that even in the face of adversity. Of it might not seem like things are going to work out, but stay the course. Like, don't let someone's, like, and I don't know why this example is coming up, but someone's desire to like ride on your success, they could do like sneaky stuff of like, what was that pickup artist thing? Like nagging people, like to try and break them down to make them more vulnerable. It could be something like that, like them trying to convince you that if you don't take their generous help or whatever, quote unquote, uh, you'll fail, which is a lofty assertion. Take these two. The moon and the page of pentacles. Okay, lots of pages here. I know I was the one that picked out the significator, but then two more. So going into the unknown, like head first, but a calculated head first, like look before you leap. Because this is not the Fool, this is the Page of Pentacles. And I mean, the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight in the deck. So taking time to review any sort of new opportunity, if you're doing anything like signing a contract, signing up for like a certificate program, whatnot, ensuring that it's an actual, accredited institution, things like that, and knowing what that certificate or whatever program will get you. And like his back foot is kind of lifted off. The body language is forward. So it's definitely not saying stop, but one foot is planted. So being willing and ready to move, but knowing when to. The moon kind of makes me think of like cycles, like timing. And this could be applicable to, getting the gears moving on the new opportunity itself. And since this is the moon card, reflecting whatever this relationship is of whomever's trying to chase you into your new beginning. Maybe this is someone you need to move away from. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're toxic or anything like that. It could just be incompatibility. It could just be an unhealthy dynamic. It doesn't need to, rise to the level of toxicity, not necessarily. They may not be accepting of that. Like they might be having a hard time with it, you know? And if there's any level of emotional imbalance or emotional immaturity there, that could express as manipulation. Not saying that makes things okay. I'm not endorsing that type of behavior. I'm just like, having empathy for people who do you ill is really difficult and helpful, like in understanding what might be going on the other side of the table to get some detachment from that that's their stuff that they're projecting. Let's get another card. So how do we leap into the unknown? Oop, that's a lot. So 2 of Cups in reverse, 7 of Cups in reverse, 8 of Cups in reverse, 9 of Cups in reverse, and the Emperor upright. Oh, heavy. So I was kind of yammering on, about how that conflict might present if they're not accepting of your need to move on. And this is more cards than I would usually hang on to, but it's painting an interesting story picture with all the cups in reverse and then an upright emperor. So disconnecting from this might reveal their true nature. The Maya Angelou, when people show you their true colors, believe them. A mask might fall when you break loyalties or whatever. Uh, Not saying, long term relationships, friendships, partnerships, whatever, aren't worth fighting for, but sometimes guys are just on different paths. And when that mask falls, that might dig up something in you of doubt, of am I wrong? Are my feelings wrong? Feelings are just feelings. It's actions that get into the area of right and wrong. And of course, take that with a grain of salt. I try not to be absolutionist. Uh, but that could be instilling some doubt in you when someone has a really strong reaction to whatever it is. But that doesn't mean your no should have been a yes just because they have a strong reaction to it, right? And I think staying in this situation, not leaping into the unknown, that could block your new beginning. And just the way that these plopped out so fervently seems like that message really wanted to get out that whatever this connection is, this 2 of Cups in reverse, doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, but there is a caduceus, the staff of Hermes here on the 2 of Cups. So this might be a connection that was once a source of great healing, of great comfort to you. And it really, really hurts when that stuff comes to an end. When you realize that you might be doing things out of obligation, not necessarily because 2 people are really compatible anymore. But there's something about this that's holding up, or that could hold up, your wish fulfillment. But moving forward with what you decide is best for you, and even at the risk of coming across as selfish, that's generally, I think, when you are a recovering people pleaser and you start setting those boundaries and putting your foot down and saying, no, I do come first, and like re-centralizing yourself in your life, one of the first criticisms of you is going to be that you're selfish. And that's not accurate. People are just accustomed to you being a certain way, and they're not adapting to this change with you. One of the things that will never cease to amaze me is how many times I've been called entitled or just expecting basic courtesy over, like, from people I'm dependent on. Like that was a pretty good one. Like, yes, in fact, I am entitled to basic decency and respect. Thank you very much. Uh, and this could be you stepping into the father archetype. That doesn't necessarily mean that you are a father or you're male, just that really authoritative, take charge. Hi, good morning. Hi, kitten. Give me a minute. But that authoritative energy of, this is my domain, what I say goes, this is not a negotiation. Like, another quote that I really enjoy is no is not the beginning of a negotiation. Like, I don't know why so many people seem to interpret it as that, but not cool. So what is anything specific we need to know moving forward? Oop. The devil in reverse. Okay. So releasing bad habits. If you've got any kind of codependent behavioral patterns in your past where you may have put other people's needs before your own, and I'm of course referencing adults, not children, of they are responsible for their happiness. That's not, licensed to just go jerking people around, being mean, whatnot, inconsiderate. And if your needs override theirs in like prioritizing your life, sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. And adults can deal with disappointment. I mean, emotionally mature people can deal with disappointment. If they cannot deal with that disappointment of you rejecting them for whatever reason, whether it's in business and romance or whatever, that's really telling that they've got some work to do on themselves. And that's not a reflection on you. You're not responsible for that. If they're not your kids, you're not responsible. Anything else? And I think that says I'm not a puppet in English. Uh, so letting go of the need to fulfill others' dreams is what's coming to mind. Like one of my parents, when I was younger, one of the difficult things about me, setting out on my own was they had this like fantasy that they were going to win the lottery and we were going to move in together and like live together for the rest of our lives and whatnot. And like, why would I want that? Like, why would I want to live with my parent as an adult? Like, it's not quite, not nearly as bad as like what the little beauty queen girls go through with the pageant girls of like they're made to sing and dance and whatnot because that's what their parent wanted. Uh, Mine was just like a weird enmeshment attempt. So we've got the Ten of Cups in reverse, Three of Pentacles, and the Lovers upright. So the Ten of Pentacles or Ten of Cups in reverse is what's throwing me. I was talking about, that dysfunctional relationship with my parent. And you might be releasing that as part of this devil in reverse energy of letting go of the dysfunction, letting go of what you were sold as normal, which oftentimes I think many of us living with complicated backgrounds, uh, we don't find out how abnormal things are until we tell it to a healthy person and see the look on their face or like the change in their inflection. So getting some perspective on, hey, maybe this wasn't normal and I need some distance from it. I need that new start, you know, to free myself. And this new start could be bringing in like the soul tribe is what I want to say. And I think that's typically the Three of Cups, but this is like building something together. Not to say, you need to blend your personal life with work necessarily, but maybe your new start is less about laboring and more about passion because we started with the Page of Wands. And then the Lovers, an important choice. The choice aspect is really what's coming to me with that one of, am I going to like take off the tether and make the leap of faith and stop trying to hold on to the past while trying to go towards the future? Because you really can't do both if you're trying for a new start. So we've got, I'm going to just take the upturned one because we have so many. 46 and 2 by Tool. So spiral out, keep going. I think that's the uh in the chorus. And that is the song where he's talking about his shadow. Change is coming through my shadow. So, really doubling down on that theme of individuation, of going your own way. And it might be hard. It might be hard to take that first step. And I suspect that first step will be the most difficult. But that feeling and the peace, and it was such a bright and sunny day of what I was seeing in meditation of this new start, it is possible and it's yours, but only if you step up and give it to yourself. But overall, I hope this helps. I hope this resonates. And if it doesn't, I hope the next one does. Thank you so much.